Greetings, people of planet Earth. This is Timothy. Because I have any following at all, because I am associated with the New Age movement, I feel it is very important for me to use my platform to address what I consider a growing concern, especially out there online where there is so much circulation of information, some of which I consider not only misleading and distracting, but also potentially harmful. In response to the spread of coronavirus, we are now witnessing on a mass scale just how effective some New Age beliefs are at denying reality, as well as shaming and blaming the victims of those who suffer. It is important, and I am asking you please, that we address such damaging misinformation instead of apathetically letting these ideas continue to circulate. Well, I'm not totally sure, so we'll just let it go, because this can be very much encouraging the spread of this virus by spreading bullshit as a replacement to actual education. Now I'm going to read from a post that's been very popular in circulation on Facebook, on social media. I have taken the names out. This is not a personal attack. This is a common phenomenon which I feel is very important to address. Okay? So typical New Age Facebook post. Like any other virus, coronavirus has a low vibration with a closed electromagnetic circuit structure with a resonance frequency of approximately 5.5 Hertz. In the highest ranges, it is not active, and starting with ranges of 25 Hertz and above, the virus dies. For a person who lives in high vibes, i.e. the soul, is no longer dangerous than acute respiratory infections because a healthy man's body vibrates in the highest ranges. Only occasionally does those in the higher vibrations slip into lower vibes. And then this post lists out the different hertz. Fear is the worst. Then we have, anger, of course, very bad. Pride, bad. Abandonment, bad. Superiority, bad. But generosity, good. Thank you, good. Compassion, good. Love, good. Unconditional love, absolutely top. It goes on and on. It says something along the lines of, you can raise your vibes by working with yourself and stimulating conscious behaviors. Here's a key phrase to watch out for. P.S. Any negative emotion closes access to clear conscious. So what is the implication of this post? Because one of the most important things to acknowledge is I am not trying to shame or criticize or humiliate or make anyone feel bad, but this is such an important dynamic to address at this time. One of my favorite quotes, which is certainly true, is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. We may have good intentions, and this is why it's important for me to acknowledge I'm not criticizing anybody. However, we need to be aware of the effect that our speaking, our words, and what we're communicating has on others. And so what I feel is so important to address here is that the implication of posts like these, which is encouraging what is called toxic positivity. This notion that if you're positive, you're healthier. If you're positive, you're more spiritual. If you're positive, you're invincible to a virus. And if you have a lower vibration, or you're meaner, or you're going through a hard time, or you're depressed, the way healthy people should be feeling when there is a global pandemic, these posts are encouraging us to suppress our feelings, to suppress our actual experiences and misleading us into this toxic positivity. But that's not even why I feel this is an important thing to address. This is a spreading pandemic, which means more and more people are going to be getting sick. It's not the end of the world. It's not the worst pandemic humanity has faced. If you put yourself in the shoes of someone who is sick, the implication of such a person reading a post like this is shame, humiliation. Posts like these are saying to people that are sick, you are sick because you are at a low vibration. And this is not a new idea. This is a distorted Pisces age belief. This comes straight out of the Dark Ages. This is not the first time I have addressed this dynamic, even close to home, even with some of my peers, where there's this notion that our physical well-being is a reflection of our spiritual evolution. There could not be a more misleading idea that is so void of real compassion, as those souls who are full of compassion are often driven to go and bring healing to the people that need healing the most. Not by prescribing these self-righteous ideas that, oh, you're sick because of this, that, or the other thing. When we start to give baseless information that's not grounded in facts, and we start to prescribe overly simplistic remedies or solutions to people that suffer, the result and the implication is that those who suffer are shamed. This is victim shaming. This is trauma shaming. And the intention is not to shame those who suffer. We want to be approaching those who suffer. We want to be understanding those who suffer. And those who suffer will be having their experience on a highly unique individual level, on a case-by-case way, unless we're dealing with something such as a viral pandemic. The nature of viruses, how it affects humanity, is not disputed. It is not a controversy. This is what you see is what you get. Now, I'm reading from something that I wrote 2 weeks ago, and I feel that it's never been a more important time to, again, really spread and share what I feel is necessary to counteract the misinformation that can be quite harmful. This video, I hope it's understood, is in the effort of harm reduction. Because within 2 hours of me sharing my ideas on Facebook, I've already been called a liar, a manipulator. I've been called a white privileged male, a bootlicker, working for the government, involved in conspiracy theories. Folks, I am a white privileged male, and I am using my privilege to address what I feel is most important to protect and defend the outspoken and the downtrodden in this scenario. It's the people that are getting sick that are not being represented. It's extremely common for people deluded by the belief that those who suffer cause their own suffering to participate in the active re-traumatization of the people they believe they are helping, by preaching to the traumatized person that they are responsible for their own pain, or, even if it is not put into such blunt words, the mere belief nonetheless reaches the suffering person, whether communicated or not, giving the person an impression that they are doing something wrong, are failed, or are broken. Usually this is accompanied by some ridiculously simple and weak resolution/prescription to taunt the victim that healing should really just be easy as this or that. And of course, when this or that does nothing to help the sufferer, they only have themselves to blame. I continuously observe the rich, spoiled, and entitled recommend personally held beliefs, workout regimens, diets, detoxes, yogic postures, meditative practices that the rich, spoiled, and entitled have mastered and are thus the cause of the rich and entitled's wild successes. But really, these folks simply possess the belief that the world would be a perfect place if everyone were identical to them. The health institutions, religious organizations, capitalistic agendas that reinforce such programs of indoctrination are actually less educated in helping others than they are in spreading their own agendas of mass consumption. This is why these cheap, oversimplified, and one-size-fits-all prescriptions actually fail to help those unique individuals who require healing in a very specific, very necessary, case-by-case way. The best way to restore healing goodness to this planet is to actually learn about real suffering. We need to go where people are suffering and sick if we want to understand what these people are dealing with and how to treat them. The best way to learn about suffering is to go there. Go to the places where there's the most suffering, poverty, trauma, and then in a case-by-case way, learning what approaches, tools, modalities, recommendations actually works for those who need healing the most. It's very important that we are taking seriously the situation that is addressing our collective in a global way. It is not okay to suggest that low vibration is the cause of this viral infection. Please be considerate and put yourself in the shoes of the other. I am not a perfect communicator, and my intention, what I'm asking you, please spread this message. Put it into your own words and carefully, articulately, compassionately respond where you see these people spreading these messages of toxic positivity, denial of reality, prescribing oversimplified remedies that actually shame the sick or suffering, or spread conspiracy theories in a way that simply increases fear in a way that is not based or grounded in reality. We are in a Pluto-centric time. This is a time of addressing reality. As it turns out, not everyone can stick around reality. Sometimes we would like to shortcut, sometimes we would like to bypass, sometimes we would like to escape what's dark, what's scary, and what's unknown. And what's most important to be departing at this time that is aligned with healing is therefore you are safe to feel whatever you are feeling. If you are feeling scared, if you are feeling depressed, if you are feeling angry, if you are feeling frustrated, it is okay. Your feelings are informing you of your truth. Your feelings are inviting this process of healing. And the more that we bypass, the more that we try to distract ourselves from our deeper feelings, we lose grip on reality. We start to disassociate and enter realities which are not here, not present, and we become incapable of reaching, let alone helping others in a useful, functional, practical, and again, a healing way. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this message, and I invite and encourage you, please share this video. Again, please put it in your own words to carefully, articulately, and compassionately respond to the posts like the one that I gave an example of earlier. It's important that we stand up and that we respond to this rather than let it all go, because this can get out of hand. There are innocent souls that get deceived, and this has the potential to cause serious harm to those that we're trying to help. Again, I know that we all have good intentions, and once again, we need to simply be as practical and resourceful as possible in coming together, in supporting one another. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings by sharing this. This comes out of my utmost caring for those that I feel are not being spoken up for or defended enough in these movements and in these groups. So I am asking us all now, Sun conjoined Chiron in Aries, square the moon's nodes. Now is the time for us to speak up And now is the time for us to do what is right and aligned with true and natural healing.